the governor has called for an extension of his executive authorities into April. And what is your response to that?
Well, what Republicans had asked for is just some reasonable accommodations to the extension of those powers. We would like to have the legislature begin to take a full vote on those extensions down the road. We also just wanted to see that businesses have time to react when we're going to close a business or modify or restrict the way they do their business, that they have a 10-day notice to be able to respond to that and mitigate their losses. And then the third thing was we wanted churches to be able to open again without capacity limits so long as they could meet all the other protocols of the social distancing. And unfortunately, the Democrats summarily rejected our ideas. I think they might have thought about it for 30 seconds before the governor reissued the declaration. And frankly, they would rather have unfettered power and zero input than have a bipartisan agreement.
It is extremely frustrating to see this continuing to go on. I mean, again, we've talked about this in the past. In the beginning, kind of made sense. 6 months, maybe a little long, but whatever. We didn't know what we were dealing with at that point. We seem to have a better handle on what we're dealing with now. And we've had a year almost to discuss how to deal with this situation. I don't think we need to have one person making all the decisions right now. We can react rather more quickly to new information on the ground. What was the justification for the governor asking for this continued executive authority?
So, part of the issue is that there is federal money apparently associated to having this declaration and that we might have the ability to get more assistance provided us. There are some other orders that are on hand right now, like that for public health measures, whether it be telehealth or certain immunities that were granted. So I generally understand there has to be some balance to this. But what Republicans are saying is, to your point, we're going on 12 months of executive rule. Let's try to find a pathway, given the fact that the legislature is now meeting. Let's find a pathway to start reasserting ourselves in this process. So, our position wasn't even, let's take the masks off and eliminate orders. We're just saying let's start working toward codifying some of these orders, be more deliberative and thoughtful in this process. And I was really taken aback their position. It was, I think it was very unreasonable, and they just shut the door and said, no, we're going to let the governor continue to run without any scrutiny. So I think that, my takeaway for residents is if you continue to have problems with the vaccine rollout, you continue to have problems with operating your business, call up the Democrat legislators, because they don't seem to be interested to have a conversation on how to make those things better.